In that confined room, Jungkook spends nearly an hour. He manages to consume 2 cups of tea and shamelessly devours a sandwich from a plastic container, convincing himself that the airport owes him at least that for keeping him confined without explanation. Reseated on the couch, the boy absent-mindedly stares at the pristine ceiling, idly twirling his phone in his fingers. A sense of limited choices prevails, and the name of the only person who might rescue him circles persistently in his mind. While Jungkook has somewhat accepted missing his flight, the thought of being unable to return home remains an unbearable prospect. Swallowing his pride, Jungkook grits his teeth and finds Mr. Kim's number in his contacts, promptly bringing the phone to his ear. Annoying ringtones persist for half a minute, and Jungkook redials. Second, third, and fourth attempts yield no answer from Mr. Kim. Grumbling quietly, he swiftly drafts a message. Jungkook, did you buy me a phone just to ignore my calls? The message lingers unread, and Jungkook contemplates tossing the expensive phone to the other end of the couch in frustration. With a noisy exhale, he once again shifts his gaze to the ceiling, debating whether it's worth enduring the airport's quirks for another cup of tea. After about 5 minutes, perhaps a bit less, muffled voices emanate from behind the door. The subsequent click of the lock draws Jungkook's attention. Please, Mr. Kim, come in, the airport worker requests, Mr. Kim. Of course, thinks Jungkook, Mr. Kim. Who else but him? Jungkook should have known it wouldn't be that simple. So, deliberately keeping his head down against the back of the couch, he continues to gaze at the ceiling, only hearing the entrance of footsteps and the door closing behind them. This time, however, the click of the lock doesn't follow. Well, who would dare to lock the great Kim Taehyung, right? Miss me? The painfully familiar voice echoes in his ears, and Jungkook feels a lump forming in his throat. I should have guessed that it couldn't have gone without your involvement, Mr. Kim. Again with Mr. Kim. The man snorts. Will you ever stop with this? I listened to you and left for you to spend time with your family, but we're coming back to New York, Jungkook, and I'd like to return everything to how it was. We are returning to New York. The boy can't help but scoff, finally looking at the man. Oh, Taehyung in that damn sweater and coat again. And once again, no shirt nor suit. Why are you still here anyway? And why the hell wasn't I allowed on the flight? What did you do, Mr. Kim? Well, I didn't have many options. Taehyung puts his hands in the pockets of his trousers, slightly opening his coat, and starts pacing the room. Since I gave you a ticket with an open return date, I couldn't be sure when you'd fly back. I could have put security around your house, of course, but I chose not to. You see, I respect your personal space. What a nobility. Not giving in to maniacal tendencies. Bravo, Mr. Kim. Enough with the sarcasm, Jungkook. This is serious, Taehyung replies, his tone growing more serious. I needed to talk to you in person. Well, here we are, talking. What couldn't wait until I'm back in New York? Jungkook retorts, crossing his arms. And why the hell did I miss my flight? For that I needed to ensure you wouldn't run away. Run away? Why would I run away? Because you're angry, hurt, and confused. I wanted to explain everything, Jungkook. Explain what, Mr. Kim? Jungkook raises an eyebrow. Explain why you manipulated my life and decisions. Why I'm stranded at an airport, missing my flight. I didn't manipulate, Jungkook. I orchestrated events to bring us here, so we can talk about us, Taehyung says, a hint of desperation in his voice. And you missed your flight because I needed your full attention. Now, can we sit and talk? Jungkook stares at him, torn between anger and curiosity. No, don't be sarcastic. Taehyung continues to base, a small smile playing on his lips. You really thought you could escape me so easily, Jungkook says, stopping to look directly at him. Yeah, I hoped, Jungkook mutters, crossing his arms. You should know better by now. I don't give up easily, especially when it comes to you, Taehyung chuckles. And what's your grand plan, Mr. Kim? Lock me up until I agree to do whatever you want. Jungkook raises an eyebrow. Well, that's one way to put it. I'm not some puppet you can manipulate at your whim. Jungkook glares at the man. Taehyung leans against the wall, his eyes fixed on Jungkook. True, but you did make a promise, didn't you? I'll obey you as long as you pay. Those were your words, weren't they? Jungkook sighs, regretting the day he ever agreed to that arrangement. Fine. What do you want, Mr. Kim? Great. We have a private flight to catch, and you're coming with me. Taehyung's smirk widens. Jungkook scoffs. I'm not going anywhere with you. Buy me a new ticket back since I missed mine because of you. I'll fly home on my own. Jungkook. Taehyung shakes his head, smirking. I do love your naivety sometimes, but not today. Do you really think I lingered in this damn town for so long just to let you fly home alone? You'll accompany me, but, Mr. Kim, how did you put it then? Again Taehyung playfully muses. I'll obey you as long as you pay? Was that it? He rubs his chin. Yes, I think that's exactly what you said. So get ready for a nice sum on your card because I'm taking you on board with me. Jungkook feels his anger boiling inside. If you didn't understand that time, he approaches Taehyung and stands in front of him, looking up into his eyes with defiance. I was talking about services, Mr. Kim. I won't be your escort on board, find someone else for that. But in response, Taehyung just grins, leaning towards Jungkook and cupping his chin with his fingers. And who said you'd just be accompanying me? He pauses, smirking, and watches as realization settles in Jungkook's eyes. You know, I've always wanted to join the Mile High Club. So shut up and obey, as you promised. Baby cookie, baby. They've really gone back to the very start, Jungkook painfully acknowledges in his thoughts. But is this really what he wanted? Jungkook takes a step back, shock and disbelief evident on his face. The audacity of Taehyung's proposal leaves him momentarily speechless. He hadn't anticipated such a bold and unexpected turn. You can't be serious, Jungkook stammers, his cheeks flushing with a mix of embarrassment and frustration. Taehyung, however, maintains a smug expression, reveling in the discomfort he's caused. Oh, I'm deadly serious, Jungkook. We've got a private jet waiting, and you're coming with me. Jungkook glares at him, incredulity giving way to irritation. You can't just force me into something like this. I never agreed to. Taehyung cuts him off, leaning in closer, his breath brushing against Jungkook's ear. You agreed to obey, remember? This is part of the deal. Now, let's not keep the pilot waiting. Before Jungkook can protest further, Taehyung heads towards the door, expecting Jungkook to follow suit. Unwilling to be dragged into Taehyung's plans without a fight, Jungkook gathers his courage. I won't do it. I won't be the part of some cheap fantasy of yours just because you bought me a ticket and then take it back, leaving me in no escape position. Taehyung stops in his tracks, turning to face Jungkook with a thoughtful expression. Oh, But you have a choice, Jungkook. You can either come willingly, and I'll make it worth your while, or we can do it the hard way. But keep in mind, resisting me has consequences. Jungkook squares his shoulders, meeting Taehyung's intense gaze. I won't let you manipulate me into something I'm not comfortable with. Taehyung smirks, seemingly amused by Jungkook's defiance. In a couple steps he closes the distance between them again, angrily pressing Jungkook against the wall. You've always been a challenge, haven't you? Fine, resist all you want for now. But remember, you owe me, and I always collect my debts. Jungkook, feeling the pressure both physically and emotionally, tries to stand his ground. You can't just bulldoze your way into my life, Mr. Kim. I won't be your plaything. Taehyung's tone turns more insistent. Jungkook, this is not negotiable. You're coming with me. End of discussion. Jungkook watches as Taehyung walks out of the room, leaving him conflicted and uneasy. The situation has taken an unexpected and uncomfortable turn, and Jungkook can't shake the feeling that he's about to be dragged into something much more complicated than a missed flight. Despite his protest, he finds himself compelled to follow Taehyung, uncertain of what awaits him on that private jet. Taehyung strides confidently down the corridor, expecting Jungkook to fall in line. The boy, torn between defiance and the lingering fear of the consequences, hurries to catch up. You can't just steamroll over me, Jungkook retorts, his voice wavering with a mix of frustration and defiance. I won't let you dictate my life. Taehyung chuckles, an air of arrogance in his response. Oh, baby, you've been dancing to my tune since the beginning, haven't you? Don't delude yourself into thinking you have a choice now. As they approach the exit, Jungkook's mind races, searching for an escape route. I won't be your pawn. This isn't right, he argues, desperation creeping into his voice. Taehyung stops abruptly, turning to face Jungkook with an intense gaze. You forfeited your right to choose the moment you told me we should go back to our business relationships. So now I suggest you drop the resistance and save yourself the trouble. Jungkook clenches his fists, grappling with conflicting emotions. You can't just manipulate people like this. It's cruel. Taehyung tilts his head, a sinister smile playing on his lips. Call it what you want, Jungkook. I call it getting what I want. And right now, what I want is you on that plane.